station in D2. We're about to head into the D1 final. Matty Marshall alongside Tony Perez and Nick Slowiak. And here we go, man. This should be an interesting matchup between these two teams here in D1.
You got Outlaws on your left, which is definitely not on your screen right now. You're seeing, who are we seeing?
Trade My Gun?
No, Trade My Gun's on your left, the Outlaws. Great facility. Know a couple of those guys, Cody Mikowski, my brother-in-law, and David Weinrob, who I had the pleasure of playing with a couple times. But on your screen right now is, I totally missed, who are we playing with, Maddie?
Red Storm.
Red Storm. Where's Red Storm out of? You know where Red Storm's out of? No idea? Well, regardless, here's the break. We got Outlaws on your screen. 3 guys in 1 can. I wouldn't recommend that, but
that's the first time. Hey, we haven't seen that yet.
You know what? I think so. We played the Red Legion. They tried to pull that out on the other can on the Dorito side. It didn't work out too well for them, but they do get an elimination on the break on the Dorito side. Another quick kill, another 2 kills, so 3 bodies eliminated fairly quickly on out of Red Storm.
Yeah,
just the 2 cans left.
Yeah, Red Storm, not a lot of bodies left alive to work with here. It's just, you know where Red Storm's from? They're from Russia.
Really? Nice.
I'm looking up and I'm seeing Samoylov on there and a bunch of other Russian names that I've seen before. So
Colombo,
and they got Fabrice Colombo on that team too from the Tauntaun. So Fabrice Colombo actually making the journey over here.
Penalty on Outlaws, which is not good for them because they were up 5 on 2. Oh, but a sloppy fill out by
Samoylov
to get eliminated. I think it leaves it now on a 2-on-1 in favor of Outlaws, and they do get that last elimination. And Red Storm concedes the point.
So not surprising. It's funny because when I saw the name Red Storm, I was like, wow, I have not heard that name yet.
That's what I was thinking.
And we're talking about Division 1. I mean, Division 1 is, that's amazing. That's semi-pro paintball, essentially.
Yeah, and it's probably a throw-together team from just some Russian hotshots and some French guys.
It looks like, well, it definitely throw-together team. Well, seriously, because Samoylov is, he's played for Moscow Red Legion. He played on the Polar Bears. I think he still plays on the Polar Bears. And then Fabrice Colombo from the Tauntauns, great player from the Tauntauns who weren't able to make it over for financial difficulties. But yeah, so now it makes a lot of sense. Now I totally understand why this team we'd never heard of.
Looking at the roster,
I look up and I see the roster and I'm like, okay, well, this makes complete sense why these guys are in here in the D1 final. But they're going to have a tough game against Trade My Gun Outlaws for sure.
Yeah, and say Trade My Gun had a great breakout with the 3 guys in the snake side can. A little unconventional, but they did get 3 quick eliminations. The one thing they got to be careful of, though, is to not get those penalties. I think Cody Mikowski got a minor in the snake side corner, eliminating one of his players. So maybe Jan.
You're going to have to talk with your brother-in-law after this.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go through my sister first. She already said, you're doing the game? Oh, you say anything bad? No, nothing but love.
I saw these guys training at CFP this week, and they were doing really, really well.
Yeah,
they were strong.
The Red Storm guys?
Red Storm guys?
They were looking really, really good. They were a tough team to beat.
Well, you look at, I mean, Samoylov's a really good player. Fabrice is a really good player. Slava, out of Lithuania, plays for, I think, Icon over in the Millennium Series.
Yeah, Slava runs the CPS.
CPS series,
Slava making it out here onto the D1. So we got a lot, and he used to play for Moscow Red Legion.
And the Bullets.
He's played for a lot of teams as well. So
a lot of experience on the red team. I'm going to call them the red team.
Makes complete sense that with the star lineup they have, European All-Stars. Might as well just call them European All-Stars, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So here we go. Trade My Gun up 1 point right now against Red Storm, and Trade My Gun is the first team to lose a body, and there's going to be a minor penalty.
You know what? The player he looked like he got bounced. He's trying to find it himself. I think if he just would have asked for the ref to come in there instead of trying to keep playing, he might have avoided that penalty. But that's a big elimination. Good.
Nick, this happens a lot too when we're in here and you ask for a ref to check. Sometimes they don't hear you with everything that's going on. You put your gun out, you know, you wait for them to come out. It's just not worth it. You have to trust in your team. We saw the last finals. It basically tossed from a
totally.
penalty.
But I mean, say you got in a game like this, you don't want to be selfish.
No,
you know what I mean?
You have to trust your team. Let them finish whatever's left.
Well, hey, Red Storm playing some solid paintball there. Definitely got helped out by the minor penalty for Trade My Gun. 13-17 to go here, all tied up at 1 apiece. We'll be right back. I'm Matty Marshall with Tony Perez and Nick Slowiak from Houston Heat. Here we go, Red Storm, which is pretty much Grad Moscow, just a different name. Grad Moscow, if you've been watching paintball for a couple years, they had done very well in Division 1, and now Red Storm losing a couple bodies.
Yeah, some good off-the-break shooting by the Outlaws to get 2 eliminations on that snake side. Although one of the Red Storm's players kind of sat out in the open. Not something I would recommend on this field, especially with the shots you got from those cans to shoot right back up at those players.
You don't have that flexibility to sit back 4 feet behind your bunkers. No.
No, another player walking off from the snake side for Red Storm, so that's 3 eliminations for the Outlaws. Let's see if they can pick up on that. They're already up the center of the field, the X. You got Cody Mikowski on your screen in the corner looking inside, cross field. And looks like Red Storm concedes that point. You know, it's a good play by Outlaws because they didn't get a penalty at that point. First 2 points that you got a minor. I was going to say, let's see if the trend continues.
Step 1, play clean.
Yeah.
Actually, step 1 would be make it to your bunker. Step 2 is play clean.
Yeah. And you know,
not a lot of teams have necessarily completely made it to step 2 here at this event. So right now, Trade My Gun, Outlaws up 1 point over Red Storm here in this close matchup in D1. Heavily stacked up teams, lots of talent on both of these rosters. 12 minutes and 36 seconds to go, and we'll be right back after this. Hard to see who is going to win these divisional finals. Houston Zone D4 champions, Project Mayhem D3, and then DC Devastation winning the series and the cup. And now we have these 2 heavily stacked up teams. One of the amazing team from Europe here, Red Storm, used to be Grad Moscow essentially, and they got Slava on their team. They've got Colombo from the Tauntauns. So I mean, it's a stacked up Red Storm team, but they are losing right now to the Trade My Gun Outlaws.
Yeah, I'd say Trade My Gun doing a really good job of shooting people on the break, Matty. 2 big eliminations, pretty quick there. They lost the body themselves, but I'd like to see this. So you've got you see a quick move up to Dorito's side by Red Storm. Unfortunately, as soon as I point him out, he gets eliminated. But that's the one good thing you like to see. So you're down on bodies, people pushing forward, trying to make things happen and get those key eliminations.
Shows a lot of heart. You know, he comes in. That's when you can turn a game around. If you're going to sit back, wait for him to come, it's not going to work out for you. You have to try.
This is it. This is the last game.
Yeah, and it's just Sergey and Slava left alive for Red Storm, facing 4 players from the Outlaws. So the Outlaws in the driver's seat right here as the time starts to tick off here in this race to 5 points. And these European players very used to playing a race to 5 as opposed to a race to 7, which is what we're going to see in the Champions and Challengers finals coming up here shortly. And Outlaws dominating this point right here. They're going to go up 3-1.
You know, Trade My Gun's playing a really smart game. They're taking their time. They're moving when they need to. They're not just making these crazy mad dashes for the snake. Going on. It's a little different than you see from the Division 2 and Division 3. I mean, you could just see it. They're just taking their time. They're shooting their gun.
I mean, honestly, like, this is kind of a pro team almost. If you got guys like, you know, they have 3 either current or ex-pro players in Slava, Fabrice, and Yan Samoylov. Yeah. And then Galka's play. He was a big player for Grad Moscow. And I've definitely heard Sergey, I'm going to butcher this name, but it's Razinkov.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a Russian last name. Can you pronounce that
Russian.
for me?
No, I have no idea. Razanov. I don't know his name.
There
but
you go.
I'm pretty sure actually all 5 of these guys, and they'll play in the champions. I'm sorry. Pro in the Millennium Series. Mm-hmm. So they've got experience. They've played against American players before. And so this is no unfamiliar territory for them, you know, coming out here and playing. And so let's see what they can do. They really need to answer back on this point. This would be a big point. And you're watching them, Red Storm on your screen. Big run out to the corner. Does he make it? Gets in. Looks like he's clean. Really shooting his corner.
Red Storm, 5 players. Ooh, no, they do lose their center player. So coming off immediately is Samoylov, one of their killers, and drawing a penalty. I think that might have been Slava. I'm not sure who got that penalty, but regardless, 3 players walking off right now for Storm. It was Slava that got that penalty, so just Fabrice, Colombo, and Sergey left alive here for the Red Storm. And so Trade My Gun with 5 bodies alive. Yeah, that's going to do it. So now Trade My Gun 1 point away from taking this victory here against Red Storm in this World Cup final in D1.
What language do you guys think Red Storm's talking in? Because you got Russians, you've got French people, you've got...
We'll probably speak in Russian because I know Slava speaks Russian, and I know for a fact Fabrice Colombo doesn't speak Russian. But still, if with only 1 French player on the team, it would kind of be like if you go play for Moscow Red Legion.
I'm going to go with English.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I know they all speak English.
But how much broken? Accent here, accent there.
Well,
Slava speaks pretty pretty good English.
Yeah, Slava's pretty. I mean,
Slava's incredibly fluent.
Fabrice has got pretty good English too.
Fabrice can speak English as well too.
But you know what? I've noticed the same 5 guys.
Well, communication is a big deal. You know, it's a good point. You know, I mean, because we see some of the best teams out there utilizing communication, and anytime somebody goes to guest for another team, where, you know, let's say you're playing on Spanish or a team that speaks Spanish, you know, as somebody well known, you're fluent in both languages, but you've been familiar with guys coming down there to guest on teams where they don't speak Spanish, and the other guys maybe their English isn't as great, but you know, it's just one of those things. Hey, communications, it's to remain here in this Trade My Gun Storm battle. The Outlaws, Trade My Gun Outlaws, they have dominated this game so far. It didn't help that the Red Storm got a penalty here in that last point, which was a huge point they needed to get on the board. Well, there's still 11 minutes and 4 seconds to go, though. So if the Red Storm can get a good break, a clean break, get 5 bodies out alive, shoot someone off the break, there they go. Here comes Red Storm. They get a shot off the break, but the Outlaws trying to get up there in the center. Vladimir from the Outlaws able to get up. He's going to try to shut down that D side of the field.
Yeah, Outlaws getting a good elimination, too, on the break, Matty. Big fill out to the corner. You can see the Red Storm player on your screen shooting cross. You can hear from his coaches that Outlaws filled the corner shooting that way himself. Big move, too, by Outlaw, filling over to that Doritos side tower. I believe it looks like that whole side of the field for Red Storm's been eliminated, so it's a pretty flipped situation we have on the field here. It looks like, what, we got a 2-on-2?
Yeah, I think it's a, I think it's a 2-on-3 with Red Storm still has Galka, Slava, and Jan Samoilov still alive. Oh, but now here comes Red Storm, man. They are going to pull within 2 here, I think. It's just Vladimir left alive for the Outlaws, and there's still 10 minutes to go, so the Red Storm could definitely make a game out of this.
Yeah, and you said Vladimir, I definitely thought that was a Red Storm player. You threw me off for a second. I was like, wait, I see 2 guys.
Yeah, Vladimir Natalov for Outlaws, but yeah, just trying to make it as confusing as possible for everybody. Hey, it's cool though, because you know,
Red Storm do get the elimination. They do eliminate Vladimir, so they'll go ahead and hang that flag.
We got plenty of time, 9:30.
Slava, who actually runs the CPS series in Europe, a really well-known paintball player over there, doing a great job with the CPS. I've been over there twice this year. It's a great series, man, super fun. So here, yeah, it was great, man. Went over there, did the webcast for them. So we're gonna be right back after this. 9:25 to go, 4-2 is the score. And we'll be right back after.
I know Pata and Red Storm's pit. You guys are down 2 points, but you still have over 9 minutes on the clock. What's your strategy going into this one to get some points?
It's really difficult. They play very well. They play in the middle of the field, so it's difficult to shoot them off the break. And our strategy is most to run, so we have to change. We have to change the strategy and try to make more kills off the break and stay alive longer.
All right, we'll see if they can get those kills off the break and get some points on the board here.
All right, this game brought to you by Camp Pendleton Paintball Park. Man, if you're in the Southern California area, definitely want to get out. You know, big supporter of all the divisional teams down there, and also the home field for Dynasty and the Ironman. So great facility, Camp Pendleton Paintball Park. Here we go, 9 minutes and 25 seconds to go. Red Storm could get back in this game. We've seen comebacks so far at this event. This is definitely a field you can mount some comebacks on for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, agreed. You come back pretty good in this field.
You guys almost came back. You came. It was a.
I've heard that so many times.
You came back, but you did not come back.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
It still looked cool though.
Thanks. I can't wait to rewatch it when I get home. I think a big story though for this field and this game right now is just kills off the break. And Outlaws, man, doing a good job shooting 1 player from the Doritos side and a quick 2-3 kills now. Not looking good for Red Storm with just Slava left alive in the Snake side Aztec.
Nah, Nick, you're right. It's looking like Trade My Gun Outlaws are going to take this one here.
Yeah, and just say the Sharks got to know the blood's in the water. They got to know there's 1 guy left. They've got 5 bodies alive. Someone needs to come down and trade out, and there's that shot on Slava getting eliminated.
So Slava going to be the last player left alive for Red Storm. So, man, the team chock full of European stars, just not able to do it here. Not enough, as the Outlaws going to take this victory here, and what an amazing last point that was. They didn't even lose one body.
Yeah.
You look at a team like Red Storm, where it's comprised of a bunch of really good players, and several of them are pro players. I mean, it's a good example to see that when you put these guys together, it's not just, okay, we got all the talent together. You actually have to find that key to make them work together and strong.
Well, and speaking of that, I mean, what you guys got going on the Dream Team is the same sort of thing. So you put together all this talent. And that was one of the things I was thinking. I was like, what a great concept. This is so awesome. But I was like thinking, man, when these guys get to Cup and have to play together, never having played together before, was there any guys that had played on the same team together that made it through all the way, or was it all completely new?
Yeah, there was 2 teams that had 2 different players, a set of brothers that were a good success story that made it, and another 2 players that were from Ecuador as well. The 2 brothers were from Colombia, the 2 runs for Ecuador. And so they did have some experience. And when we built the points, we built the points with them working together to try and keep that, and that helped out a lot. I mean, we pulled some great points out. Or the 3-on-5s, and we were down on penalties, and we pulled it out and won it. And if you could have seen the sidelines just exploding with everybody on the side going, wow.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, it just makes the hairs on this back of your neck stand up.
Oh, it's so great. So where can people go to get more information about everything?
Social Paintball did a great job on doing all the filming throughout the weekend. There's going to be a 4-video series that's going to come up. You can see the teasers. And then if you want, of course, go to the PrimeLink Sports International Facebook page if you'd like to even sign up if you're from South America and kind of get involved in this for next year. We're going to keep the dream going, and being able to come to World Cup as a full-paid, full-sponsored ride, you don't ever really see that every day. And now we're actually got, there's a window of opportunity for people from South America. If you've got enough heart and you showed it, and you're involved in paintball in your countries, you can make it to World Cup.
I love it. Such a great story. Tony, thank you for putting it together. Thank you for staying up here with us. We'll be right back after this. Do not go anywhere.
Thanks, guys.